this is Melissa Lloyd with the Valley City Barnes County Public Library, and with me is
Sue Millender from NDSU Extension right here in Barnes County.
And today we are doing Instantpot for youth, and we are making mac and cheese, and I love mac and cheese.
I do too.
But I don't like it from a box because it's icky. But as a parent, it's easy.
Yes.
And my kids will eat it because they're picky, but
however, I think that you will find this recipe is so easy. It's just as fast as the box.
just as fast. That's what I'm hoping for.
Common ingredients that you'll have at home.
Right.
So
yeah, if you have cheese,
milk, noodles, and you don't have to use elbow noodles.
right, you can use whatever noodles you like. My kids like the spiral noodles, and they love them.
Yeah, so you can use whatever kind.
And we also are super excited today because we actually have kids here, and they're sitting off to the wings, but they're gonna come in, and they're gonna, because it's a dump recipe, they're gonna come in, and each of them are going to dump something into the recipe because this is the kids. They have to learn how to make this stuff. So
right. And so dump versus any other kind of recipe just is that we're dumping things in versus something like if I make a beef stew in here, I might sear or brown the meat, or if I make chili and I'll brown the meat first. So this is just dump raw ingredients in, press the timer, and go.
So are we ready to get started? What did we want to talk about first with the Instantpot at all?
Well, this is a moist cooking technique, which means that how many of you have air fryers at home? Do any of you have an air fryer? That's dry. Yep, so you don't put anything into that, right? You just turn it on and open the basket, pour stuff in, close the basket, and press go. This one, you always, always, always need to have a liquid in here. That liquid might be chicken broth, like we're gonna use today, or water. There's an inner pot, which is where the liquid goes. We never ever wanna put the water into this machine or you'll wreck your machine. So it always goes in the inner pot. Now there's a lot of buttons here, and I just want you to ignore all those buttons and just concentrate on a couple. The ones that I use are, and I don't know if you can see these, but there's a slow cook, and there's a saute, and yogurt. I make yogurt in here almost every 2 weeks, and a pressure cook. And pressure cook means that once I put the lid on, this is your physics for the day, once I put the lid on here and close it up, it means that this machine is developing pressure, which will cook everything in here faster than it would if I just put it onto the stove. So today we're going to use pressure cook, and a lot of people, like your grandparents maybe, or maybe your parents, will say, I'm so scared of pressure cooking because if you had the old style, it might blow up. This one has so many safety features that you don't ever have to worry. And we'll go through some of those safety features as well. This is a multi-pressure cooker. I just happen to have Instantpot. There are a bazillion different brands out there of multi-pressure cookers, but Instantpot is the one that I just have gotten used to, and sometimes it's just what you get used to. So, oh boy. Did you see that safety feature? It wouldn't open because there was still some pressure. We preheated this, so to speak. So there was still some pressure in here, so the lid wouldn't open. And that's one of those safety features that I was just talking about. So, should we get started with our dump recipe? Yeah? Well, it's pretty easy. So we've got a couple kids. Why don't you boys come up? Come on up here. And say your name, would you please? Look at the camera and say your name.
Wyatt.
Hi, Wyatt. And?
Braxton.
Perfect. So I need one of you to just dump in the noodles. Yep, dump them all in there. And I need one of you to dump in the broth. So this is the liquid. Remember I said we always need to have liquid. Awesome. Thank you, guys. because this is probably one of the simplest recipes we've made. We are gonna fast forward this, and you can come up, and how about you boys can come on up, and you got your hands washed, right? So you can take this and dump the butter right in there. Good job. And this is salt, pepper, and garlic powder. You can dump that in there. And you get to do the measuring. Okay, so over this bowl, we're gonna measure out a half a teaspoon of hot sauce. And you might think, oh, this is gonna be gross, but it's gonna give the macaroni and cheese a really nice flavor. So just over this bowl, you can pour, and then if we spill, we still have a half a teaspoon. Perfect. And then you can put it right into that. Awesome. Great. Now I want you to stay here for a quick second. And I want you to make sure that all the noodles are underneath the liquid. Are they? Are there any sticking up out of the liquid?
Yeah. There
are? Okay, so we're gonna push those down into the liquid. And the reason I'm doing that is because I don't want the noodle to be outside the liquid or it'll get really hard. We don't like hard noodles, do we? How's that looking? Pretty good? Mm-hmm. Awesome. Okay. Put that right in here. Now we're going to put the lid on. I'm just going to keep you up here because you look super, super smart. I want you to take this lid. This is the hardest part of this whole recipe. See where this arrow is? This says open on this side. We're going to spin you around. So there's an arrow here. It says open and close. We're going to put this arrow about right here. Nice. We're going to turn it to close. That was the best I've ever seen anybody do. Just want you to know. This particular one is just going to start building pressure as soon as we set the time. So wait a second, come back here, you get to do one more thing. It says off right in here. I want you to press the button pressure cook. Great. It says 2. Press this plus button until it gets to 5. There you go. Now it's going to start cooking. You can have a chair because now we just twiddle our thumbs and we wait. So once this gets to pressure, it's starting to build pressure. Once it gets to pressure, we'll see that 5 again, and then it'll start counting down. And once it gets to 0, we're going to release the pressure, and we're going to add the cheese and the milk, and you have macaroni and cheese. So we're going to take a little break while this builds pressure and starts to cook. This lid will not open right now because we're being very safe, right? It won't open until we reduce the pressure. So we have to release the pressure. I'm going to move it over here. And do you want me to release it?
Yeah,
or would
I'm
you
behind
like
it.
to? Yeah,
So.
you kind of are. I'm going to use this, and I'm just going to press this down, and it's releasing all of the pressure. So I can just press, or you can press cancel. We're good. And now we can open the lid.
Right.
So do you want to open the lid, or would you?
Does anyone want to come up and open the lid? Shan, you had your hand up first.
Okay, so when we're opening a lid, even on the stove, it's really important that we don't open the lid toward us. We're going to open the lid away from us, okay? So the lid comes off like this, not like this. Why don't I want it to come off like
Steam can come.
steam? Okay, so there you go. You can lift it off, safety feature. And this particular one, do you see this? Put it right in that handle. Yep, and then all the condensation or liquid would go in there. Can you stir it for me? Stir it up. How's it looking?
Good.
Yep, it's noodles that are cooked. We're gonna finish this off, of course. So we're gonna start off with the cheese. I've got a mix of shredded and mozzarella cheese in here. What would you like to do, Melissa? Trade off, or you want him to keep going?
Let's have Braxton. You want go up and you can do it. Cheese and then.
Okay, I'm just gonna remove this lid because it'll make it easier for you. Okay, I want you to dump about half of that in and then stir it up. And yep, just stir it right up. We're gonna just melt the cheese. It should melt quite quickly.
And the Instapot is off, right?
The Instapot's off, but
Right.
it's still
Got
hot.
a lot of residual
Yep,
heat.
keep going. While you're stirring that, I'm gonna pour a little milk in. And this is about 1/4 of a cup. He's gonna keep stirring. You keep stirring, I'm gonna dump. Is it melting okay?
Mhm.
Looks good. Now the cheese, you guys can use a variety of different kinds of cheese. This, I put a little mozzarella cheese in, so it's gonna be stringier, like when you eat a pizza, you know, and the strings from the pizza come out. That's good. But if you don't like a stringy mozzarella, just use all cheddar or a little bit of mozzarella. That's just fine. You're ready? We'll dump the rest in. How is it looking?
Looks amazing.
It looks amazing.
I like that.
Does a little bit more, and then we'll be able to test it.
Never.
Do we add any more milk? Does it still have milk in there?
You can. He's got more milk there, but it's all melted. It's good. Let's show everybody what this looks like. So we'll bring the camera over. Now you notice I can touch this. Most of the time, this pot won't get hot.
Oh, that looks like mac and cheese to me. Ooh, I'm excited. I love mac and cheese.
Yep. So with that, we will, I think, end our video, and these guys
Can
get to
eat.
try it.
Yep, they can eat. Thank you for joining us with Instapot for Youth. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to call Sue Millender at the Extension office.
Yep. Here in Barnes County, or visit me on the 2nd floor of the courthouse.
Or you can come to the library and on Central Avenue.
Wait, we have to put a plug in for our summer baking.
Oh yes, yes. So this summer, Sue and I are going to be presenting a baking camp. That's what we're calling it.
Yep.
We're calling it. So we'll be making scones, pretzels, pizza, and pancakes. So that'll be the first 4 weeks of June, and that will be at the library.
Yep.
Hopefully, so far my plan is to have it at the library. There's no registration involved. You just show up, and it's all free. So you guys don't have to pay for anything, and you guys get to bake and eat and
Have fun.
because that's what we like to do. So thank you for joining us today. And these guys are so ready to eat some mac and cheese, and so am I. So we'll see you later.